definition. Pharisees. There were three Jewish sects: Pharisees, Sadducees, and Essenes. This sect, the Pharisees, arose prior to the period of the Maccabees, when there was a tendency on the part of the Jews to adopt Grecian customs. In opposition to this, the Pharisees conformed in the strictest manner to the Mosaic institutions. In the time of John Hyrcanus, they were first known by this name. They were distinguished from the Sadducees in their doctrinal beliefs in holding to the doctrine of the resurrection and immortality of the soul, the doctrine of future reward and punishment, foreordination consistent with freedom of action. But conformity to the law was the essential characteristic of their religion. In addition to the Mosaic law, they adhered strongly to traditions of the elders. This was denounced by Christ because it nullified the scriptures. They were denounced by John the Baptist as well as by Christ for their observance of the letter of the law instead of the spirit of it. So this was the traditional group. This was the one that stuck to the law. Everything has got to be, you hear some people say, we've been doing this way for 30 years. They didn't deviate from the letter of the law. But as it was said in that last statement, they were denounced by John the Baptist as well as by Christ for their observance of the letter of the law instead of the spirit of it. And I think that's a good starting point. That's a good starting point for our discussion too. Or a nice addition to what we're discussing, because the Sadducees, let's get a little historical background. One of the Jewish religious parties in existence at the time of Christ. This sect did not believe in the resurrection and a future state of the soul, nor did it believe in the theory of rewards or punishments after death. In these beliefs, it was opposed by the Pharisees, another important Jewish sect. Politically, the Sadducees, who took their name from Zadok, a high priest in the reign of David, favored the policies of Rome in the government of Palestine. This was the party of the priesthood for about 200 years prior to the fall of Jerusalem. Most of the high priests were drawn from its ranks. John the Baptist once called both the Sadducees and the Pharisees a generation of vipers. I think they got that wrong. I think that was Jesus. Well, this is in Mark 3:7, maybe it was. And Jesus warned the disciples against their doctrines. Paul once caused a division in the ranks of both groups by claiming to be a Pharisee who questioned the resurrection of the soul. That's an Acts. I know Jesus called them a generation of vipers. I don't know about Mark, maybe Matthew 3:7. Maybe, well, then again, maybe it was both of them. Because I know that Jesus did at some point. But this gives us a historical background on the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and the fact that, it was John the Baptist too. Yeah, John the Baptist and Jesus called them a generation of vipers. Wow. Okay. So, but it gives a background on the two groups that are involved, because the first group, who did not believe in the resurrection, had been silenced. Wonder what they have been silenced over. Let's take a look at that. Let's see if maybe it's here in prior to this text. We don't have to go back to the Bible. Let's see what they have been silenced over. Matthew 22. Okay. Yeah, Matthew 22 and 23, the same day came to him the Sadducees, which said that there is no resurrection, and asked him, Master, Moses said, if a man die having children, his brother shall marry his wife and raise up his seed unto his brother. And so the question was about resurrections. And Jesus answered and said unto them, you do err, not knowing the scriptures nor the power of God. For in the resurrection they neither marry nor are given to marriage, but are as angels of God in heaven. But as touching the resurrection of the dead, ye have not read that what was spoken unto you by God, saying, I am the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. God is not a God of the dead, but of the living. And so when that happened, it says the Pharisees, well, no, that's when it leads up to our text. So both groups are challenging him on his doctrinal views. And the interesting thing is that Jesus is bringing what seems to be a new doctrinal view, but it's actually revelation from God about the doctrines that the people already knew. They already knew, the letter of the law, the things that things that Moses brought, the things that they shouldn't do. But it wasn't creative in that only thing it did was build boundaries for the people to stay within. Once you build the boundaries to stay within, then what do? It'll get to the point that once you start building boundaries, that's all you will have. Then and later, it's just more boundaries. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, thou shalt not. You look up there, most of those are thou shalt nots. So what shalt thou do?